Humans are neurologically wired as goal-seeking machines. Our brains are built to identify a target and relentlessly pursue it. Yet, look around and you will see a population that is largely anxious, paralyzed, and seemingly incapable of taking the first step. This widespread paralysis is not an accident. There is a massive industry of institutions, social programmers, and online grifters who generate astronomical profits specifically by keeping you doubtful and dependent on their external solutions. Take a look at this corporate Herbalife signage. It stands as a physical monument to the manipulator's toolkit. They engineer a sense of false ambition, selling a dream of financial freedom while trapping individuals in a system of hidden debt and manufactured urgency. When you are subjected to this constant external pressure, it installs a bug in your psychological operating system. Dr. Maxwell Maltz called this the automatic failure mechanism, a state where your own subconscious actively sabotages your true will to ensure you conform to the limitations placed upon you. If you try to overcome this internal failure mechanism using sheer willpower alone, you are simply going to lose. Gritting your teeth and forcing yourself to work harder against your own subconscious only guarantees severe burnout. Look at this schematic of a thermostat. If the central control is locked at freezing, bringing in space heaters might raise the temperature temporarily, but it will never change the core environment. Because the moment you remove those external heaters, the moment your willpower runs out, the system will forcefully snap right back to its original frozen setting. In the 1960s, Dr. Maxwell Maltz discovered a way to bypass willpower entirely. He developed Cybernetics, a method for hacking this psychological blueprint directly. To achieve true sovereignty, you have to stop fighting the outer symptoms of your life with brute force. You must open up the terminal and rewrite the core operating system of your mind. Dr. Maltz defined the human brain as a literal cybernetic servo mechanism. A servo mechanism is an automatic system, like a guided missile, that uses error-sensing feedback to stay locked on to a programmed target. This internal mechanism is completely impersonal. It doesn't judge. It will blindly and relentlessly hunt for success or failure, depending entirely on the specific coordinates it receives. Those coordinates are determined by your self-image. It acts as an absolute mental firewall, filtering which targets are accepted. If you set a goal, but unconsciously believe you are unworthy, that goal will ricochet off the firewall, locking on to failure. This exact mechanical rejection is why people experience imposter syndrome. When outward actions temporarily exceed your internal self-image, your brain flags the progress as an error, trying to pull you back to your old baseline. Because this firewall controls every action you take, you literally cannot outperform the internal picture you hold of yourself. By controlling the self-image, you are moving the actual boundaries of what your nervous system allows you to achieve. Reprogramming this self-image begins with cold, rational thought. You have to logically identify and then discard the false beliefs you inherited from childhood traumas or societal propaganda. But you cannot force new code into a stressed system. Physical relaxation is a mandatory requirement. You have to consciously release the tension in your body to dehypnotize the mind and leave it open to new inputs. Once relaxed, you enter what Maltz called the theater of the mind. This is a daily practice where you use your imagination to vividly construct and rehearse your desired outcomes. This works because of a core neurological reality. The human nervous system cannot distinguish between an actual physical experience and an intensely imagined one. As illustrated here, the brainwave activity firing in both scenarios is virtually identical. By mentally rehearsing your success in a deeply relaxed state, you forge what are called synthetic experiences. These experiences permanently rewire your self-image, upgrading your automatic success mechanism without a single drop of physical struggle. We also have to redefine the concept of failure. In cybernetics, a guided missile never flies in a perfectly straight line to its target. As this diagram shows, the missile moves forward by making constant, tiny errors, using negative feedback to continuously correct its trajectory. However, if the system is too sensitive to this feedback, it spirals out of control, shutting down into total behavioral inhibition. For the warrior philosopher, Mistakes are not permanent identity markers. They are simply the neutral, necessary environmental data required to navigate directly to the target. When your self-image finally aligns perfectly with your conscious goals, the internal war ends. You achieve a state of complete mind-body unity. In this state, right action becomes entirely spontaneous. Fear loses its paralyzing grip and is transmuted into pure, actionable information. This internal alignment mirrors the myth of Hercules, who had to complete 12 exhausting labors to overcome his mortal limitations. Mythology calls this apotheosis, the hard-earned transformation from a human trapped in struggle to a hero who has realized their highest potential. This sovereign individual stands in stark contrast to the passive, dependent citizen that modern distraction machines and societal manipulators work so hard to create. True sovereignty isn't won by fighting the external world. It is won by stepping into the theater of your mind, taking absolute command of your internal cybernetics, and executing your great work.